Thank you so much for tuning back in. I now have Yvonne Spicer, another candidate running to become Framingham's first mayor. Thank you so much, Yvonne.
Thank you, Jack, for having me.
Happy to have you on the show. I know you've been out in the community knocking on doors, and a lot of people know you and are getting to know you. But for those folks tuning in at home, who is Yvonne and why is she running?
Well, first and foremost, Yvonne Spicer is a woman that came to Framingham in 1985 to teach. I came here to teach middle school at Farley Middle School, and I never left. I had a wonderful career working in Framingham schools as a teacher and as an administrator, but I've gone on to do some other things that also stay within the realm of education, but actually expands upon it, looking at policy, looking at ways in which we can expand workforce development. And in my current role as Vice President of the Museum of Science, I head up a division, which is a startup division in the museum that focuses on STEM education, science, technology, engineering, and math. And I travel around the country, around the world for that matter, developing programs that help not only students, but also building teachers' knowledge and capacity to grow programs in their respective school districts, but also engaging business leaders and educators and policymakers.
Excellent. And you've made the choice to jump into politics and to run for this mayor position. Why? In a couple sentences, are you thinking of?
Well, one thing is that I am on town meeting, and I'm actually a town meeting member representing Precinct 6, and
Excellent.
I'm also vice chair of my precinct.
Oh, so you're already involved in politics. I misspoke. I apologize. But you're making a big
leap. And also part of being on the Ways and Means Committee. I have been on Ways and Means for the last 2 years, and part of joining Ways and Means, I actually stepped out of my comfort zone, which is traditionally education-related topics, and really moved to Ways and Means for the reason of learning more about municipal government all the way across the board, because it is a very demanding committee, and which I've enjoyed, and also being able to look deeply at issues that impact our community.
Excellent. So if you're elected, can you share a few of your priorities as mayor, if that's where this journey is able to take you?
Absolutely. Well, I'd like to think, when am I elected?
Right, so
I'm a very positive thinker.
Love it.
But one of the things that, of the issues that I look at are critical to Framingham, and I looked at 5 different priorities. Economic development, number 1. Maintaining and preserving our open spaces and being great shepherds of our community resources. 3, education. 4, at public safety, and 5, transparency and communication within government. I see those as critical issues that we need to touch on, and I'll just quickly cover a little bit on each one of them. Economic development, one of the things that I have looked at in Framingham, there's not been a lot of growth of new businesses in the sense of looking at innovative economy. And by that, green technologies, jobs that are looking forward ahead that are not necessarily impacting our carbon footprint in the community. We have to look at some of those micro kinds of businesses and think about ways that we're building partnerships with businesses to work very closely with the community to employ our citizens, so when people can live and work in the community and invest in the community by buying homes and living here, that makes for a much more comprehensive economy. And so that's from that lens. When I think about open spaces and preserving those, I think it's very important that we become very good stewards of the spaces that we've been given, because once we give up green spaces, we can't get them back. So it's so important that we really look balance at how we're preserving our green spaces and protecting them. How are we taking care of our streams and our lakes and our ponds, making sure that it's a safe place for families to go and enjoy. So that's going to be very critical. And as I think of education, Framingham has a great school system, and it is my hope to work with Dr. Trimbley and the new elected school committee to keep that path on good momentum, and making sure that there are opportunities for all of our children to excel and succeed in school. When I think of public safety, I've had some opportunities to meet with our law enforcement department, and also look at some of the issues that are impacting our communities, such as opioid, and making sure opioid issues and situations are looked at carefully, but also kind of thinking about what are the things that happen before we deal with addiction, and making sure health and safety becomes an integral part of that mix. And last but not least is communication. One of the things that I think is so important, how do people access City Hall or the town hall, and making sure that this is a welcoming, inviting environment that respects people's ideas. Also, people know the process and that the services that we offer and how to access those services become extremely important. So I'm hoping to make sure that it's open, communicative, as well as opportunities for all voices to be heard.
Excellent. One of the questions I ask of everyone running for a position in Framingham's government is around welcoming and celebrating the diversity that makes up our town. I think is integral to the town being what it is. Since being elected, one of the communities I've heard from a lot is the immigrant community, who rightfully so is concerned about what they're seeing going on in Washington, D.C., but the reality is it's not just stuff happening in Washington, D.C. Stuff's happening a whole lot closer to home. And so I'm curious, as somebody running to be Framingham's first mayor, what do you think Framingham could or should be doing to better protect or allow the thriving immigrant community to feel safe within our town?
Well, first and foremost, one of the things that attracted me to coming to Framingham was its diversity. And over the years, Framingham has been touted as one of the most diverse communities in Massachusetts. And that's something I'm very proud of, and certainly I know a number of our residents are. My intent as mayor is to protect all of our residents and making sure that our immigrant population feels welcome and feels an inclusive part of the community. I've also checked in with the police department on issues around working collaboratively with ICE and what some of the policies and practices. And my hope is to follow through with what has already been established, is to be able to be a protective kind of environment for all of our residents and making sure that everyone feels welcome and feels safe in this community. So that's my commitment.
Excellent, and thank you so much for sharing that. I'm definitely looking for a partner in, as one of Framingham's state representatives. Whoever the next mayor is going to be is somebody that I'm going to be looking to as a partner, especially around this issue. And so I'm unapologetically asking, because I have one vote as well in this race, and it's one of those things I'm eager to know where our candidates stand. I know you've been knocking on doors. I've seen you out in the community. I've seen the other candidates as well. I spent last year doing that, and I'm happy to leave it in your capable hands this year and all the other candidates' capable hands. How's your experience been out on the campaign trail, knocking on doors, waking up babies, interrupting dinners?
Yeah, it's been fabulous. I have to say, people have been very welcoming and very intuitive about issues within the community. There are opportunities where people have actually said, I know who you are. They knew me coming and up their driveway. And but they're also very concerned about some of the changes in the town and wanting to make sure that I'm the right one. And I've had great experiences with people on their doors. I've actually helped someone pick out their paint colors for their house. One fellow that actually was very, he said to me, I've been leaning towards you, but I had to look you in the eye in order to really solidify that. And I'm really happy you actually came by and stopped by to talk to me a little bit. So those are the kinds of things I've been getting from the community, is listening to their concerns, but also giving them an opportunity to get to know me. And it's been phenomenal. I had a kickoff event the other night to a standing room only crowd. And many of the people I looked in the audience, I had met them on the doors. So that was something very encouraging to me, that people not only met me at the door, but they came out to also support the campaign kickoff. So that was really great.
Oh, excellent. I know that this charter question led to greater involvement in Framingham politics. And I remember last year knocking on doors for my own campaign, and people wanted to talk about the charter question. Should we vote to form a charter? And then as the conversation went on, do we vote to approve the charter? And I think people are primed to be involved. And I know that you and the other 6 declared candidates who will be on the ballot, they're exciting folks. They're out there. They're doing exactly what they need to be doing. And people are eager to make sure that Framingham's first mayor sets the tone, not only that for our town's values, but sets the tone for the future. And I know you and the others are out there doing exactly what you
Absolutely.
need to be doing.
Absolutely. And one of the things I would add is that, I have a very wide variety of experiences that have worked with education, legislators, government leaders, business leaders, which also gives me a very different lens to look at this role of being mayor of Framingham. I think I'm probably one of the only candidates that has had that intrinsic experience of supervising, evaluating a huge team of folks and making sure that I'm also connecting not only here at the local level, but at the state level and national level. So I have a pulse on many avenues, including my appointment to the statewide STEM Council, the Economic Empowerment Board. So a lot of engagement, not only here locally, but also at the state level.
Excellent. So unfortunately, our time is drawing to a close. And so in closing, I hope you just take a minute or two and answer a question I like to ask of everyone. What is it about Framingham? You have chosen to make this your home, to continue making it your home, but running for mayor puts you in a special class of folks that have decided to put themselves out there in a way that most people, as much as they love Framingham, would never think of venturing and taking the time and energy it takes to run for mayor. And I like to think that it's something to do with the town itself. And I'm curious, what is it about this town we've made our home?
Well, first and foremost, it's the people. This is what makes Framingham, the people, the opportunity that it's the location geographically, it is centrally located, it's easy to get access, roadways, north, south, east, west. But more importantly, I see a great opportunity to bring everything I have done in the last 30 plus years of my professional career around the world, and I do work around the world, to bring it to this community. And it's a good place and a good time in my life. I'm in it to be the mayor of the people and all of the people of Framingham. So I feel like I bring a lot of good energy, I bring a lot of good experiences, and I do hope come September 26th and November 7th, the people of Framingham will realize that and vote for me.
Excellent.
So I asked them for that.
Well, thank you so much. She just said it. What is it, September 26th?
September 26th.
So September 26th, there will be a primary, so you will have a chance to narrow down the field from the 7 candidates that will be on the ballot in September. That day, the field will be narrowed down to 2, and then on to November 7th. My name's not on the ballot, so the dates aren't rolling off the tongue like they were last year for me. Where you, the residents of Framingham, will have the opportunity to decide the future of our town in selecting not only the city council and the school committee, but the mayor as well. And so I am grateful that you've tuned in. I hope that you will check out and learn about all the mayoral candidates. I look forward to having them on the show, and I hope that they will accept the invitation and we'll have hopefully another pleasant chat like this one.
Absolutely.